Hello and welcome to today's Sport for Business Daily. It's kind of an exciting one. I'm joined by Ironman, not Robert Downey Jr., but an even better version in Declan Byrne. And Declan is here to talk about the concept of a sporting event actually being planned for rather than postponed. You're very welcome, Declan.
Thanks very much. And Robert Downey Jr. is a perfect comparison to start, I think. Yeah, never been compared to him before, but good one.
Well, you are the managing director of Ironman in Europe, and you took the brave call to actually put a line in the sand and say that Ironman in Cork was going to take place in August of 2021. And you went one step further because you added in an extra event with a 70.3 event, which is already sold out. You must be very excited by that.
Yeah, we're delighted with that, Rob. And I think really we have to plan. We have to try and plan these events, and we have to try and get on with things a little bit in our industry. And certainly we have the kind of the good formula for success down in Cork, which has delivered this, which is really like a community that really wants us down there. The local support and the community support is just phenomenal. And that's what this is built on. We also have a host venue that are in Cork County Council that are fully behind us and want this event to go ahead also. And then obviously we have the demand from our athletes as well. And we're very much seeing that our athletes want to race, and they certainly want to race in Cork and want to race at home next year. And yeah, we made the step, and we're delighted to have put it on and made that jump into 2021. But as I said, we have to plan, and we have to try and get on with things, especially in our industry.
And you've sold out 1,600 places on the 70.3 event. It's one that is not done off the cuff. People have to devote an awful lot of time and energy into preparing for it. So that really does suggest that pent-up demand that's in there. You mentioned how it's been a great success in Cork. Last year, you had, I think from recall, it was heavy rain and winds that meant that the swimming part of it was curtailed. You probably thought at the time that was about the worst thing that could happen as an event manager.
Yeah, and listen, it's a risk in our industry. It's a hazard of the job, so to speak. You know that, but it happens quite a lot across our industry and across these events. You know, like we operate outside in Mother Nature. You know, and these things happen, and weather happens, and all we can do is provide the best experience we can under those circumstances, which we felt that we did in Cork. And you know, coming back to the festival, you know, we've grown that and grown it to a festival weekend now on the back of the success of that. So we're not only have the 70.3 added, we also have an Iron Kids event on the 13th of August as well, which is the younger members of the Ironman family will take to the streets of Youghal, about 1,500 of them on the Friday evening. So we have a real festival weekend created down there, and you know, it's something to read that our athletes, our stakeholders, our volunteers, our community, everyone can really look forward to. And we're really trying to create that optimism to deliver that exceptional experience for all our athletes, because we know that the demand is there. Like, we have a very high proportion of athletes per 100,000 of population within the UK and Ireland. We're renowned within the Ironman group for the UK and Ireland athletes for traveling abroad to races. But certainly what we're seeing in Cork next year is that maybe due to some of the prevailing restrictions that are on, that people want to race at home. And we have exceptional races at home here in Ireland and in the UK for people to enter.
Looking at those numbers, there obviously is a shift towards staying within your own national bounds. But how has that dynamic changed? What's the breakdown of what you've got on board so far for Cork?
Certainly on the 70.3, we've seen a bigger proportion of domestic athletes racing. So it's about 80% Irish athletes that have entered the event so far. But we still have a 10% entry rate from athletes in the UK, which is quite positive. You know, on the full distance side of things, obviously we have some deferred athletes from last year, but we have a 50% entry from Ireland and 30% from the UK and well over 10% from the States. So we still have a very, very international flavour there. And I think that's one of the real benefits of an Ironman event. And a mass participation event of this scale is that the economic impact it can deliver to an area, bringing these international athletes and their families, of course, to Ireland to race. But certainly in the 70.3, we have seen a more of a domestic athlete, Irish athlete, looking to sign up and race here, which again is positive for us.
And you've put on a few events across Europe already, in the different pace at which different countries are coming out of this. In terms of the overall business, how much of a hit have you taken? And is it something that's going to take a long time to bounce back from? Or do you think that the Ironman family, as you described it, are willing to actually gather around? Is it something that is such an important part of people's lives that they're desperate to get it back, and that will be good for business?
Absolutely. And like, again, one of the things we're really proud of in Ironman is that we do provide life-changing experiences for people within the sporting arena that we operate. As a global company, we operate 240 events on 6 continents in 54 countries. We're bound to be affected by a global pandemic. It's quite obvious, and we have been, and it's been a tough few months, of course, and we've looked at deferring, first of all, events to the autumn, and then we had to defer to events to 2021. But on the back of that as well, we also have huge optimism. We're seeing a lot of, again, demand in 2021. People want to race with us. They want to get back racing. And already we've put on some successful races in 2020 across the globe, and particularly in Europe. We operated, and this might be known a little bit about the Ironman group in general and the Ironman family, is that we're not only operating in the triathlon space. We have running assets as well, like some of the world marathon majors, like the Singapore Marathon. We own the Rock and Roll marathon franchise. We own the biggest mountain biking event in the world, the Cape Epic, which is a 7-day event across South Africa. We own the Swiss Epic, which is a 5-day mountain biking event. So we're very much diversified as well within the mass participation space, besides being the biggest one in the world. So we are in a good position to sort of, because we are diversified, to be okay from this. And we certainly are very optimistic about the future. We have new events planned in 2021 in Venice, in Cork, and various other areas. And we've already delivered successful events. The Swiss Epic happened, for instance, a few weeks ago, the mountain biking event in Switzerland. We've delivered a 70.3 in the Sable d'Olonne in France. We've delivered events in Gdynia in Poland, and right across the globe. There hasn't been as many as we'd want to. And to give you another stat, we were due to deliver 40 events worldwide in June, and we delivered none. So you can see that we've had a big impact, but we're hugely optimistic for the future, Rob, in terms of getting back to racing. And we've developed our return to racing protocols to keep all our athletes, stakeholders, spectators, all our Ironman families safe. And that's been proven to be able to do that over the past number of weeks.
That is important now, and will be into the long term as well. The sense that outdoor is better than indoor when it comes to socializing, when it comes to eating, when it comes to just living our lives, is probably going to play to your strengths, as well as the enhanced awareness of our own physical well-being. So do you feel that is something which you're going to be able to, to make the most of? Because 40 events in a month is an awful lot. Is there a sense that you're already at maximum capacity, or is there plenty more that you can do?
There's plenty more that we can do, certainly, and I think all you got to do is look at, and we're quite passionate about this, look at the natural resources we have here, even as a country, that we need to exploit a bit more in terms of putting on bigger outdoor events, our trails, our rivers, our coasts. There's certainly a move to off-road that we're seeing globally as a trend, and certainly we're well positioned in both Ireland and the UK, because I manage those 2 territories, to take advantage of that for sure. And what we've seen over the lockdown period even really sort of gave us a lot of confidence as well, in that people, the stats were off the charts in terms of people running, out cycling, walking, even swimming. You go down to the 40-foot down here close to myself here in Dunleary, and you'll see hundreds there every day of the week. We're now maybe starting this love affair again with our outdoors, which I'd love to see a lot more of in this country. Yes, weather is a factor, but if you don't want to race outdoors, if you don't want to participate outdoors, well, then that's what gyms are for. But we'd love to be operating more events here and taking advantage of that, because there is a big movement to mass participation and participation outdoors in running, swimming and cycling. And of course, triathlon is a perfect combination of that. And we'd love to see more of that, and we'd love to see more facilities. It's great to see all the cycling facilities that's coming online now, especially here in Dublin, again, on my own doorstep, all the greenways that are planned. This will all help to develop our health as a nation, our physical health, our mental health. Everything will benefit from this as a society as we increase participation in sport in these areas. And not just the big three sports. We know that the big three have been successful across a number of years, of course. But the other sports can't be forgotten about here. The other participation sports, particularly, and I know that the Federation of Irish Sport today are calling for the funding to be honoured for over the next few years in that sporting policy, and I call for that as well, because some participation sports, the running, swimming and cycling, are prioritised in that, and we would certainly love to see a lot more of that being prioritised.
And Sport Ireland have just produced a new outdoor policy as well, looking to enhance exactly those areas that you've spoken about. The big field sports have always tended to do well by number, particularly in the younger age groups. But if you look at the Irish Sports Monitor that Sport Ireland again produces, it does show that the older we get, the more individual we become in terms of sport. But that does feed into the mass participation events, the marathons, the triathlons, the swims, everything that you've said there. That it certainly looks to be the way of the future, and hopefully we're going to get back to that as well. It's key that we get back to a sense of normal life, and I've no doubt that it will take place, hopefully before August the 13th to the 15th, but that's when the Ironman Festival will be taking place down in Cork. For now anyway, Declan Byrne of Ironman, thank you very much for taking the time to join us.
No problem, Rob. Thanks for talking. Bye.